Hi guys, Alex here. You probably know me as the HTML code on YouTube or Elusive Edits. Basically, I'm going to be starting up a 20 to 25 part tutorial series on how to create your own custom personal website without using any templates from like WordPress, Joomla, or any other sort of what are they called? We'll just call them template website services. Um, the medium that we're going to be using is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, PHP, and we're also going to be using some Ajax. Um, Putting it all together will create a complete dynamic website, and the scenario I've chosen for this website in particular is graphics, of making yourself your own custom graphics portfolio. And the reason why we're doing a custom graphics portfolio is purely because it's just sort of nice to have your own place where you can put your work that's not restricted. Like when I say restricted, I mean, for example, when we have D8 portfolio and we have some no, we have DA portfolio, and there's a few other sort of alternatives to it where people currently position their work. And although it's nice to put your work there, it's also nice to have your own personalised site, which you can manipulate as of where, and whenever you want to. And there's literally no restrictions to how you present your portfolio, and there's very little in the way that which you can't do to achieve a different style. So what we're going to be starting with is some basic programs that you will need to create your website. So the first thing we're going to need is our WAMP server, which is going to be our testing server, which we run our website on. What a WAMP server does is allows you to run your website in a server environment. So, say when you buy hosting with a company like GoDaddy, or you buy it with WordPress or Joomla or whoever you're buying it with, you can use the WAMP server as your testing server on your own local network, and that way you can see your site in live performance. And yeah, so it's quite useful. I use it a lot. Um, well, I think most people use it a lot. And what we're going to be doing now is go to Google and we're just going to type in WAMP. And from here, we're going to click on the first link, WAMP server, and then we're going to go to downloads. And you're just going to find the one that's applicable for your system. You're either going to get 32-bit if you've got a 32-bit OS, or 64-bit if you've got a 64-bit OS. Now, if you're on Linux or you're on Mac, you're going to need to download the MAMP and the LAMP. So basically, what WAMP actually stands for is Windows, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. That's what this bit stands for. So obviously for LAMP, it's Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP, MAMP's Mac, Apache, MySQL, PHP. So that's how they break it down. So after you've downloaded your file, you're going to extract it and install it as you normally would. I'm sure you'll know how to use WinRAR. If you don't, I can't really do a tutorial on that now, purely because I've already got it installed on my machine. But after you've done that, what you want to do is you want to right click, and we're going to run it as administrator. There'll just be a really simple setup that you need to go through, and it will ask you for a root directory. I'll normally put that in my local C disk, and then that's where you're going to be saving your web pages to. So after you've run it as an administrator, in your system tray down here, you should see that the WAMP server is green, and that means it's turned on and everything is like working. That means all the services are on. If it's orange, that means that your Apache server isn't on, and this is where we're going to do a quick troubleshoot through Skype, because you have these things called ports, and basically Skype listens on the same port as to what the Apache server does. So we're going to need to fix that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go Tools, Options, and we're going to come down to, I think it's Advanced, and in there should be Connection. Under connection, we're going to untick the box that says use port 80 and 443 as alternatives for incoming connections. And that will allow the Apache server to be able to use port 80 or 443, and Skype will now default to a different port which is available, so Apache gets the priority. And that way, when you need to come to your server again, left click on it, and then you want to do stop all services, and then you're going to do start all services. Then that should go green for you. I'll be back in a second, guys. Someone's at the door. Right, so I'm back. And I'm pretty sure we just finished talking about installing the WAMP server and changing the port. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is essential tools for building websites. And what we're really going to need is our WAMP server, which we've already talked about. And we're going to need a text editing software. We can either use Notepad. Notepad is our basic one, which comes with like every system, and obviously Mac has its own sort of text editing software. And the huge benefit with these is you can literally just file save as, and as long as you put the dot whatever extension on the end, you'll save it in that sort of file type. Only problem about using something like Notepad is you have no syntax highlighters, or you have no way to judge what line your code is falling on. So that sort of becomes its weakness, becomes its downfall, and that's why it's better to actually go and find your own IDE, which will pick out its sort of own syntax highlighters for the specific language that you're writing in. So I've chose a couple of my favourites. InType is my favourite text editor, purely because of the fact it's clean, it's fast, it has shortcuts, it will speed up the way you write your code. It's just really reliable. It's got a lot of features which I don't know yet, but I'd highly recommend this one if you're going to be pure coding. And then the second of all is the trusty Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver is such a good tool. I didn't used to use it. I used to do all my coding by hand, but when I actually started doing, well, I still do all my coding by hand, but when I'm doing my design, you need Dreamweaver to get a successful design, because if you're going to be using tables to slice your headers, which we're going to be doing in this, you're just going to need Dreamweaver to be able to accomplish what can I say, an accurate sliced effect. Because if you don't use Dreamweaver, what's going to happen is you're not going to know the width span of all your columns. You're going to get your images scattered all over the place. You just have more control when you can manually move things, and the computer will adjust the code for you. So get Dreamweaver, get InType, and you're going to be ready to go. If you can't find InType, another good one is Notepad++. Finally, there's some other tools that you can use. Illustrator and Photoshop are more the graphic side, but Flash can be an essential part to a lot of websites. It can be used to create buttons, it can be used to create advertisements that you're going to have on the side, it can be used to create dynamic forms which are going to send information off to a server, then present some nice snazzy message. It's really useful if you're not comfortable in heavy coding. Now, the reason why I say that it's useful if you're not comfortable in heavy coding is because you can achieve what you can achieve in Flash with HTML5, JavaScript, or PHP. And basically, I'm going to be showing you how to do it all through programming rather than using Flash to create it for you. So our essentials for this course are going to be InType, Dreamweaver, and Photoshop. So in the next part of the series, we're going to be creating. What are we going to be creating? We're going to be creating the structure for our homepage, and then that is going to link to our CSS sheet, and it's also going to be the basis template that all our other pages are going to follow. So I'll see you in the next part, guys. Thanks for listening. Peace.